I love space games. I love the idea of exploring space in games. I just have one problem. Space exploration games are fake. Almost every space exploration game gets the scale of space wrong. There is always some sort of smoke and mirrors. Even games that do have a massive scale have some kind of door. Like EVE Online, you can pilot freely through entire solar systems, warp to any point between planets. But when you want to go to another system, you have to use a door. Or in EVE's case, a jump gate, which masks a brief loading screen and boom, you're on the other side. Or everything is just scaled down, like in Space Engineers. You're limited to a speed of just 100 meters per second. The planets are obviously very small, and they're only a few thousand kilometers away from each other. Keep in mind, I'm not hating on any games that do this, because I get it. Space is big, and the way that computers do math is limiting. If you were to shrink the universe down so that the sun were the size of a marble, then Earth would be about half a meter away from the sun, and the closest star would still be 114 kilometers away. The closest major galaxy would still be 68 million kilometers away, even at a 66 billion to 1 scale. The way games generally render graphics and do physics calculations is with 32-bit floating point numbers. They only have 7 decimal digits of precision. This means that once they get into the millions, there's basically no precision and rendering gets weird. So obviously you can't shove these numbers into a game and expect it to be able to work, right? I've been developing my game No End in C++ and OpenGL for about 6 months. It's a single-player exploration game with no boundaries. I've overcome the pesky floating point precision issues. It's going to be a game of truly endless proportion, because it'll be a full-scale universe with no smoke and mirrors. In the game, you play as a discovery vessel, an advanced sentient spaceship. You explore a procedural universe at FTL and sublight speeds. Distances between planets, stars, and galaxies are going to be realistic. You're powered by diving into the stars, in between investigating and collecting data from cosmic phenomenon and alien civilizations. You will also defend yourself from threats while researching upgrades with the data that you've acquired. Following game design philosophy, the game needs a gimmick. The distances between stars and galaxies are so vast. This means that even traveling thousands of times the speed of light, it can take weeks or months to travel between stars. Obviously, time is going to pass much quicker in game while you're traveling. That way the player doesn't really have to wait that long to get to a new destination. Progression is going to be tied into this. Research will take months or even years to complete, but as long as you're exploring, it'll feel like no time. No End is an open world sandbox. You can do whatever, go wherever. The ship's sensors will locate any points of interest to explore, but you will always have the option to go to random stars or galaxies to see things that may not be of interest to the ship, but can still be interesting to you. Choose the way you deal with threats via stealth, weapons, defense, or diplomacy. I also planned on having a seeding mechanic where you seed civilization on habitable planets. This would also tie into research and progression. There will be manufacturing like building turrets, probes, and drones. This only requires plasma from stars, blueprints you've researched, and of course time. The game is inspired by a sci-fi TV series called SGU. Rather, it's inspired by the ship in the series. The ship was created by an ancient race of aliens millions of years ago, traversing the stars ever since. Its goal is to investigate evidence of intelligence at the beginning of the universe. I just think the premise is cool. Unfortunately, the show was cancelled after only 2 seasons. I know the scope of this game is kind of ridiculous, but I don't think it's impossible. I love space games, and I want to make a game that I want to play. This is my vision. I've got a long road ahead. It's already been 6 months and I haven't even scratched the surface. There's no enemies, the star render needs redone, the planet and star shaders are way too expensive, the coordinate system isn't finished, it only supports 100 million light years, but I am confident because of the progress I have made. Right now, I have a pseudo-galaxy that has over 100 billion stars, and each could be visited. Each can have hundreds of planets and thousands of moons. There is a big game decision I have been putting off for a while. Implementing orbital mechanics. Right now, every planet and moon is static. Having every planet orbit around the sun and the moons orbit around the planets will really complicate things. The navigation computer will take care of all the math involved, but it will make things more ambiguous for the casual player. I don't think it's required, but it could be really cool, like having arrow braking maneuvers and gravitational slingshots. I'm making sure the scale of the universe is realistic. I feel like something would be missing without it. Let me know what your guys' opinion is about it. Should I add orbital mechanics? Like I've said, there's a long road ahead, but I find time to work on the game almost every day. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe to see more.